Do you ever feel like you've hit a ceiling with how much money you can make in motion design? Do you want to make more money with less effort? Then you've clicked on the right video. Hey, it's Hayley from Motion Hatch here. In this video, we're going to cover how to add to your income without adding to your effort, what a productized service is, how to make a productized service, and how to put distance between you and your competition, and also how to offer more value to your clients. This video is actually highlights from a podcast episode that I did with Brad Hussey. Now, Brad is a web designer and digital marketing consultant, and he teaches his students how to build productized services so they can grow their income. So if you want to check out the full episode, I'll put it in the description below this video. So do make sure you stick around all the way to the end of this video, because Brad goes through some ideas that you could use to build productized services for your motion design business.
So yeah, when I started, it was all just client work, saying yes to anything and everything that came your way. When I started, it was like 10, 12 years ago. And so in some ways it was harder to figure out how to get clients because you didn't have as many resources. Even 10, 12 years ago on the internet, it wasn't quite the same landscape. But in other ways, it was easier because you didn't have this noise that is kind of bombarding everybody with everybody has a million ways to do one thing. And so for me, I just said yes to everything and anything and just found patterns. And what did I like doing? Who did I like working with? And just kind of naturally kind of discovered what was good, what was not. But what I was not okay with was the really inconsistent income. I just thought, there's got to be a better way of doing this. You know, I'm not a starving artist, nor do I care to be. I want to provide for my family in a meaningful way and in a consistent way. And I don't think that I should be exempt from that, even though I'm in the creative services industry, you know, as a web designer. So I kind of went out naturally looking for ways to add to my income. So instead of just saying yes to everything, you know, I thought, okay, well, maybe there's something else I can add into this. There's another income stream I can add to this. And naturally, I found courses, like online courses. And I thought, hey, like I've got an expertise that I can teach. I can package this. I've got my own methods and my own ways and my own techniques. And I'm really good at communicating to beginners how to achieve something. So specifically for me, it was how do you build, you know, how do you design your first website? How do you code that? How do you, make it responsive? At the time, it was really new, hot new term, making your websites mobile friendly. And so I taught a couple courses on that, and those kind of took off, and it opened my eyes to, you don't only have to make income in one way as a creative entrepreneur. The term productize is a pretty new term, and I don't even think most people don't even know what it is. And when I try and teach people and coach people about how to be a productized service or how to create one, they don't even know what the word is. They've never heard of it. It's kind of an unusual word, but it's been around for time immemorial for anyone who's been an entrepreneur offering services and wanted a more scalable way of doing it. So whatever it was called in the past, and I don't know if there was ever a name for it, but we have a name for it now. And with that comes with more clear definitions and ways to embrace it and approach it, rather implement it into your business. So the definition that I like to use for productized service, it's a hybrid between a product and a service. So a product is rigid, it's fixed, it's always the same for everybody. So I'm looking at various items on my desk, like this Stream Deck or this microphone or even the computer. That's a product. It's the same for everybody. You buy the thing and that's it. So it's very, very scalable. Whereas a service is not necessarily the same for everybody. If you hire a motion designer to design your graphics for, a game or something like that, it's generally going to be different for every single person. And that's highly customizable and highly unscalable. So conceivably, the only way that you can make good money doing that is by charging outrageously high rates. But there's a balance between the two, where you can offer a service, work with clients that is almost always the same for each client. It's not as scalable as a product, but it's not as unscalable as a service. And so what makes a productized service is a service that is fixed in price, fixed in timeline, and fixed in outcome. So you have to have those three. There's some movement within those, but it needs to be those three things. The further away you get from those things, the less productized it is, which essentially means the more customized it is, and ultimately you need to charge more. As soon as you productize and you get specific, you start to build a moat around your business, and you start to put distance between your competition, you and your competition, because what you're offering is now unique and immediately more remarkable and valuable. And you still get to be a motion designer or a creative entrepreneur or a web designer, programmer, whatever it is. You still get to be that, and you get to get better and better at it, but you're actually offering something of tremendous value. When we're talking about this, I'd encourage people to think about it, some productized service ideas, because you're right. Like, I did some research before this and I thought, I wonder what motion designers out there are doing productized services. And I couldn't find anything. And that's not because it's not possible. That's just because motion designers haven't thought of it yet. So this is a prime opportunity for motion designers to step up and to create something like to be first to market. And that's exciting because that's prime opportunity. Your clients will love it, and you get to define how you want to do business. And then you get to kind of use that productized service to grow your business. So just because I haven't found any examples doesn't mean that there aren't any. And also it doesn't mean that it can't happen, because I'm sure web designers, like I'm in the WordPress web design kind of field. That's like my people. Most of them still don't know how to productize, but now there are people making great money, doing really good work and solving really specific problems as WordPress developers, doing WordPress care packages, WordPress websites for restaurants, so on and so forth. I can name literally like 100. The way that I kind of get my students when I do a boot camp for productizing and in real time help people come up with ideas, you have to think of those three factors: fixed in time, fixed in outcome, and fixed in price. And also the fourth one is fixed target market. And so that takes time. Like, you can't always just like come up with a brilliant idea right away. You usually have to write down a whole bunch of garbage ideas and kind of weed through them. A really simple one outside of that would be something like WordPress sites for restaurants. Let's say it's $1,000 and it's a fixed outcome. So the scope is very rigid. You get a WordPress website with your interactive menu. You can update it. You can reserve spots. Maybe you can book like curbside delivery or whatever, because every restaurant wants that now. And it's $1,000, and you could choose your color scheme, upload your logo, and then pay for it on the site. And that's a thing. It's called Restaurant Engine. It's literally a WordPress web designer who's really good at designing websites for restaurants. And he has a set of templates, and it's like, here's the client, they paid. The turnaround is, I think, like 48 hours or a week or something like that. That would be an example. Another one that my students usually do, I have a branding kind of specialist amongst my group, and she did something called I think I'm getting this right, brand in a week. So it's like a brand discovery package with like your colors, basic logo, typography, kind of like the whole kit and caboodle, kind of basic, in 1 week for a fixed price. And you just get that package. And it's usually for people who don't really have, like businesses or startups who don't have tons of money to invest in like a massive brand package, but they don't want to just go to Fiverr and buy a cheap logo and put purple on it and call it their brand. So it's like you get a professional who's going to give you kind of like a bare minimum, but quality brand package in 1 week. I've also seen website in a day. I've experimented with that as well. Build a Squarespace website in 1 day, and it's fixed price, fixed timeline, and like it's very specific in what you'll offer. So there is no back and forth.
So I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What are some ideas that you have for a productized service? If you would like to hear more about productized services, check out the full podcast episode in the description below. And if you'd like to get your next motion design client in 5 days, then do check out our free course. You can also find the link in the description. See you next time.